You're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you. This document is an original, it's legal to hunt unicorns in this US state, this is the deadliest job in the United States, and Russia sold Alaska to the government for what? Let's get started. Close to 1/3 of all land in the United States, about 650 million acres, is owned by the US government. In the United States, the richest 1% of all Americans have a greater net worth than the bottom 90% combined. The town of Whittier, Alaska is a small town of around 220 people, and all of these 220 people live under one roof in one building. 1 in 8 people in the United States have been employed by McDonald's at some point in their life. The Statue of Liberty is actually not located in New York City at all. It's technically in Jersey City, New Jersey. The largest body of freshwater in the world by surface area can be found in the United States. It's called Lake Superior, and it covers 31,700 square miles. In the state of Montana, cows outnumber humans 3-1. Although the United States is home to about 5% of the world's population, it accounts for 25% of all economic output in the world. The United States and Canadian border is the longest land border in the world, stretching about 5,500 miles long. The Mall of America, home of the first Mr. Beast burger located in Bloomington, Minnesota, is actually owned by a Canadian company called the 555 Group, based in Edmonton, Canada. Americans eat enough pizza every day to cover 100 acres. That's about 3 billion pizzas a year. The United States is technically the most generous country in the world based on charitable donations, volunteer hours, and a track record of reaching out to help others based on the World Giving Index. 1 in 3 Americans is obese. Just over half of the US population lives in about 9 states. Russia sold Alaska to the United States for 2 cents per acre. The US Constitution wasn't original. In fact, Ben Franklin and the Founding Fathers didn't even come up with the Constitution themselves. They actually modeled it after the Constitution of the Native American tribe of the Iroquois. The average CEO in the United States makes 343 times more money than the average American. If you have a $10 bill and no debt, then you are wealthier than 15% of all Americans. 3 out of every 4 tornadoes that occur in the entire world happens in the United States. The United States does not actually have an official language. People assume that it's English, but there is actually no official language, and the federal government has never declared that. July 4th is a lie. Congress actually officially declared independence from England on July 2nd, 1776. We celebrate July 4th as Independence Day because that's actually the day that John Hancock signed the Declaration of Independence. At any given moment, there are 5,000 commercial airplanes flying over the United States. More people live in New York City than 40 out of all 50 US states. The United States is home to more dinosaur fossils than any other country and has the most variety in species. In Pennsylvania, there's a town that's been on fire for more than 55 years. Called Centralia, Pennsylvania, in the late 1800s to the 1960s, it was a prosperous mining town. However, in 1962, one of the mines caught on fire, has spread underneath through all the interconnecting tunnels, and nobody's been able to put it out ever since. The United States flag, filled with 50 stars, was actually designed as part of a high school project by a 17-year-old. And the student actually got a B- from his teacher, but the flag committee loved the design so much that eventually the student got a call from President Eisenhower that the flag was selected to be the official United States flag moving forward. The United States-based company of Walmart is the world's largest private sector employer with about 2.2 million employees. The US capital was not always Washington, D.C. The Residence Act actually stipulated that Philadelphia was to be made the temporary capital of the newly created United States from 1790 to 1800, while Washington, D.C., which didn't previously exist, was built. The Wright brothers, who invented flying, they never actually went to college. Franklin D. Roosevelt served as president for 12 years, longer than anyone else, and that's because he was elected before the 22nd Amendment to the Constitution, which was ratified in 1951, and it now limits presidents to serving only 2 full terms. The largest currency denomination in the United States is a $10,000 bill, and it doesn't actually picture a president. Rather, it has Treasury Secretary Salmon B. Chase, who went on to serve as Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court in the 1860s. The world's largest office building by floor area can be found in the US, and it's known as the Pentagon. Statistically speaking, being President of the United States of America is the deadliest job in the entire US.
That has to change.
If you think about it, 45 men have held the title, and 4 of them were assassinated and 4 others died in office. That's a death rate of about 18%. Nearly 1 in 5 people who have held the job have died while serving. Did you know that Abraham Lincoln is actually in the Wrestling Hall of Fame? Before he took on the role of president, Abe was the winner of 299 out of 300 matches that he fought and was inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame. During Prohibition, the US government killed about 10,000 people by poisoning alcohol. After the law was passed that banned the drinking and consumption of alcohol, the US government was frustrated at how many people were still finding a way to get drunk. So they started poisoning products that were on the shelves that had alcohol in them to keep people from drinking them. And it's estimated by the end of Prohibition in 1933, about 10,000 people died because of this poisoning. You know the Liberty Bell, one of the most famous artifacts of early America? The word Pennsylvania is actually misspelled by today's spelling on the Liberty Bell. Pennsylvania was spelled this way back in the day, and it was an accepted form of spelling the state back when the bell was engraved. Roughly 2/3 of all $100 bills that are in existence are not found in the United States and rather are found overseas. If Texas were to secede and become its own country, it would actually have the 10th largest GDP of any country. In the US state of Kentucky, the number of bourbon barrels outnumber the number of people in that state by more than 2 million. If you were to take all of the concrete in the Hoover Dam and build a 2-lane highway with it, you could build one from San Francisco to New York City. It's roughly 3.25 million cubic yards, and it weighs more than 600,000 tons. In the US state of Michigan, you can actually obtain a unicorn hunting license from the state. There's actually a group of unicorn hunters that were created in 1971 by W.T. Rabe, who was known for clever PR stunts, but this remains legal to this day.